Council meeting for Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. We have in attendance with us the following city officials.
Safety Service Director Barb Sylvester.
Present.
Economic Development Director David Maley.
Present.
Park and Rec Director Steve Pedro.
Present.
Is there anyone else from administration I missed? That's it, Madam President.
Thank you. Under number 5 on the agenda is where the public can speak on any topic that does appear on tonight's agenda. And then again, under number 17, the public can speak on any topic that does not appear on tonight's agenda. I'd like to remind you, please, to either mute your phones or turn them off. And thank you. Roll call.
Kramer.
Present.
Gray.
Here.
Howard Smith.
Here.
Hearn King.
Here.
Excuse me. Lewis.
Present.
Lombardi.
Here.
Sloops.
Here.
Sneed.
Here.
And Gill.
Here.
Roll call, 9 present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilman Sneed.
Everyone please rise and join me in the Lord's Prayer, followed by the pledge. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Sneed. Madam Clerk, the minutes of the previous meeting transport tribe and open for a public viewing.
Yes, they are.
Are there any additions or corrections?
No, there are not.
And the minutes stand approved as written. We are at number 5 on the agenda, where anyone from the public can come forward and talk on any topic that does appear on tonight's agenda. If you wish to do so, please come forward, state your name, address, and topic you wish to discuss, and please limit your comments to 4 minutes or less.
George Fleetwood, 222 Lake Avenue. I wanted to weigh in on the building that's being torn down, Tiger Rag store. I wanted to weigh in on that. I was here during the discussion that night, way back, I think January 2nd. And, you know, Lewis had said that he's getting some calls that the people that are getting the building torn down, that they don't have any skin in the game. Now, they came up here and talked for several minutes, and they said that they've been here 45 years, you know, staple to the community, Tiger Rags, put $40,000 in the building to try to save it. So for somebody to say that really doesn't know what they're talking about, because I think they did have skin in the game. You know, they tried to save the building. They've probably given back to the community tenfold. You know, who knows? Only they know that for sure. And then I read in the paper that the guy in Ward 2, Vogel, is that it? No, his last name there. Yeah. But anyway, Violent. He said that they should give the right to some benefit. You know, I don't get it. 45 years, staple in the community, tried to save the building, and this council's like wanting not to give them the money that they've already been granted. Theoretically, they've been granted the money, and it, through the governor, you know, her statement, the governor, what's his name? Governor DeWine, I'm sorry. I'm at a loss for words sometimes. But anyways, you know, got a letter from the governor, here's the money. Then we have safety issues. The building's been, you know, there's a safety issue. Lewis spoke a couple weeks ago about it. You know, he's concerned about the community. It could fall down. It could fall down tomorrow. Who knows? But anyways, I would think that with what they've put into the building and this, being here 45 years and been granted the money, basically, and it's not costed anybody here any money. I mean, it's state money. I mean, very minimal. I mean, that's what state money's used for. It's for projects within the community. So they've been granted the money, and I've been up here several times. There's been some big decisions at SIPO Russellville Park. The community got involved because it was such a big issue. Now, if it's such a big issue for 9 people to make a decision, why isn't there an open forum up here for the community to come up here and speak on behalf of this building? You know, and same thing happened with the amphitheater. It's a big issue. I mean, people they're in a tough spot. I mean, it's a tough decision. But there was an open forum for that too. So I think they should get the money and, you know, get the building torn down and quit dragging your feet about it. I mean, come on, man. What if that was you? That's the way I think about things a lot of times. I'm thinking, what if that was you? What if that was your building? Would you be saying this? No, just give them the money, get it torn down. And another thing is Hurricane asked them what they were going to do with the property. You know, that was a big question to ask. They said they were going to keep it. So what's that tell you? They're going to reinvest. You know? They're not going to sell it. And that's it? All right. Okay. So that's what I had to say. You know?
Thank you. Did you sign the paper, Mr. Cleaver?
Sign it, yeah. I got to sign it twice?
Nope, just once.
All right.
Anyone else? Want to speak on any topic that is on the agenda this evening? Seeing none, we'll move into new and miscellaneous business. Is there any?
Yes, Madam President, I received a appeal for a variance request which was denied by the Massillon Board of Zoning Appeals on Thursday, January 12th, from Ms. Jennifer McConnell. Variance case 2023-1, and it will be presented as a request for legislation for council to consider at the work session on January 30th.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll move into introduction of ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 5, 2023.
An ordinance authorizing the Director of Parks and Recreation Department of the City of Massillon, Ohio, to apply for a B-6 liquor license permit for the Legends of Massillon Restaurant and Golf Course for Sunday sales of liquor and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Gray.
Thank you, Madam President. This was presented at the work session last week. I was not able to attend. Mr. Hurricane stood in for me and mentioned that there was very little, if any, discussion on this matter. I spoke to Mr. Pedro regarding it, and there is some urgency to have this approved so that they can apply for the permit. Is there any discussion or questions on it at this point? Seeing none, I'd like to waive the rule requiring 3 readings of the ordinance and bring ordinance number 5-2023 forward for a vote.
Second by Councilman Hurricane. Roll call for suspension.
Gray.
Yes.
Harvey Smith.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Lombardi.
Yes.
Slutes.
Yes.
Sneed.
Yes.
Beelman.
Yes.
And Kramer.
Yes.
9 yes for suspension.
And for passage.
Harvey Smith.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Lombardi.
Yes.
Slutes.
Yes.
Sneed.
Yes.
Viola.
Yes.
Creamer.
Yes.
And Gray.
Yes.
9 yes, 4 passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 5, 2023 is passed. Ordinance number 6, 2023.
An ordinance authorizing the Director of Parks and Recreation Department of the City of Massillon, Ohio, to accept a donation from Star Community Foundation on behalf of the Massillon Recreation Center and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lewis.
Yes, this ordinance is to receive $6,600 for the purpose of purchasing AED devices for the Parks and Rec Department. It is a donation that is given to them. Are there any questions or discussion this evening? Seeing none, I make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings, reading ordinance number 6-20234 for a vote.
Second by Councilman Gray. Roll call for suspension.
Herb Kane.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Lombardi.
Yes.
Slutes.
Yes.
Snead.
Yes.
Viola.
Yes.
Creamer.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
And Howard Smith.
Yes.
9 yes, 4 suspension.
And for passage.
Lewis.
Yes.
Lombardi.
Yes.
Slutes.
Yes.
Snead.
Yes.
Viola.
Yes.
Creamer.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Howard Smith.
Yes.
And Herb Kane.
Yes.
9 yes, 4 passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 6, 2023 is passed. Ordinance number 7, 2023.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor and the safety service director of the city of Massillon, Ohio, to enter into a contract between the city of Massillon and the Stark County Sheriff's Office for the use of the Stark County Law Enforcement Training Facility, LETC, located at 143 First Street Southeast, Massillon, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lewis.
Yes, this ordinance is to approve an agreement to use the LETC at a rate of $25 per officer per year. Are there any questions or further discussion this evening? Seeing none, I make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings, bringing ordinance number 7-20234 for a vote.
Second by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call for suspension.
Lombardi.
Yes.
Slutes.
Yes.
Snead.
Yes.
Viola.
Yes.
Creamer.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Howard Smith.
Yes.
Herb Kane.
Yes.
And Lewis.
Yes.
9 yes, 4 suspension.
And for passage.
Slutes.
Yes.
Snead.
Yes.
Viola.
Yes.
Creamer.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Howard Smith.
Yes.
Herb Kane.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
And Lombardi.
Yes.
9 yes, 4 passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 7, 2023 is passed. Resolution number 2, 2023.
A resolution consenting to the appointment of Alex Wood to the Recreation Board of the City of Massillon, Ohio, for the term expiring December 31st, 2025.
Councilman Lewis.
Yes, in this resolution, we'd be consenting to the appointment made by the mayor of one of the 3 seats that she appoints to the Recreation Board of the City of Massillon. I do believe Mr. Wood is in attendance, is that correct?
Yes.
And usually when we have this, we do give them an opportunity to speak, so if he is so obliged, Madam President, I would ask for him to come up and introduce himself.
Come up to the mic. Alex.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam President, council members. My name is Alex Wood. I'm the potential board member here tonight to introduce myself. One, again, Alex Wood. I'm a Massillon resident, recently retired from the profession of coaching, and this is home. And I'm back home, and I'm happy to be back home. And if approved, this would be a great opportunity for me to give back to the community. Obviously, I'm passionate about being from Massillon. It was a good experience for me growing up, and glad to be back. Give me a little guide here. I don't want to ramble.
That's excellent. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Wood before we move on to a vote? Apparently did a great job.
Oh. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With that said, we do want to thank you again for coming in and giving us a chance to put a face to a name.
Sure.
If there is any further discussion, I make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings, placing resolution number 2-2023 for a vote.
Second by Councilman Gray. Roll call for suspension.
Sneed,
Yes.
Viola,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Howard Smith,
Yes.
Kern King,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
and Sluse.
Yes.
9 yes, 4 suspension.
And for passage.
Viola,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Howard Smith,
Yes.
Kern King,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Sluse,
Yes.
and Sneed.
Yes.
9 yes, 4 passage.
Thank you. Ordinance number, resolution number 2, 2023 is passed, and congratulations, Alex. Madam Clerk, is there any unfinished business?
No, there is not.
Are there any petitions and general communications?
Yes, we have a request for a new liquor license for Tiger Island Mexican Grill LLC, located at 426 3rd Street Southeast, Massillon, Ohio 44646. Permit classes are D1 and D2 and is located in Ward 3.
Councilman Gregg, did you receive copies of this?
I have.
Thank you. Are there any bills, accounts, and claims?
Yes. We have a bill in the amount of $403.44 payable to Copley, Ohio newspapers, formerly known as the Repository, for the publication of ordinances and our public hearings. Invoice in the amount of $175.17 payable to Office Depot for copy paper and 2023 supplies. Invoice in the amount of $127 payable to U.S. Bank Equipment Finance, which is our January payment for our copier, for a total of $705.61.
Councilman Lewis,
Make a motion to pay the bills?
second by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call.
Kramer,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Howard Smith,
Yes.
Kern King,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Sluse,
Yes.
Sneed,
Yes.
and Viola.
Yes.
9 yes to pay the bills.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The clerk will pay the bills and charge them to their proper accounts. Reports of city officials.
Yes, we have the mayor's report for December 2022 and the auditor's report for December 2022.
Councilman Lewis,
Make a motion that we receive the auditor's report?
second by Councilman Gregg. Roll call.
Gregg,
Yes.
Howard Smith,
Yes.
Kern King,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Sluse,
Yes.
Sneed,
Yes.
Viola,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
and Gregg. Oh, I'm sorry, I started with Gregg. 9 yes to accept the auditor's report.
Thank you. The auditor's report has been accepted. The reports of committees, our next work session will be Monday, January 30th, 2023 at 6:30. We're off with 4 because there are 5 Mondays in the month. Resolutions and requests of council members. Councilman Sneed.
At this time, I would ask for a moment of silence for my uncle who passed away last Friday. He was a Jackson Township trustee for 8 years and donated to various projects around Massillon up to including the Veterans Park. So if we could have that for a moment. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to go back to number 12 if I could. January 30th, there's also a public hearing at 5:30, so don't forget that.
And Councilman Sneed, what was your uncle's name?
Craig Sneed.
Thank you.
Call the calendar, ordinance number 173, 2022.
An ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Massillon, Ohio by rezoning certain property from RM-1 multiple family residential to B-3 general business district.
Councilwoman Kramer.
Thank you, Madam President. As this ordinance has stated, this is a zone request. There are 2 parcels located both on Lincoln Way East. The acreage to be rezoned is 0.93 acres. The purpose of this rezoning is to allow for operations of a full-service bank. We did have a public hearing on January 9th here in council chambers at 5:30 p.m. Representative from Consumer National Bank was here. There was no there was no opposition at this public hearing. Does anyone have any questions regarding this zone change?
Councilman Gray?
Thank you, Madam President. No question, I just wanted to say this is in my ward. I've had no negative feedback regarding it. I think it's a good use of that property on Lincoln Way, and I would urge fellow council members to vote for it.
Anyone else? Councilman Kramer?
Madam President, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to bring ordinance number 173-2022 for a vote.
Second by Councilman Lewis. Roll call.
Howard Smith,
Yes.
Kern King,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Sluse,
Yes.
Snead,
Yes.
Viola,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
and Gray.
Yes.
9 yes for passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 173, 2022 passed. Ordinance number 174, 2022.
An ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Massillon, Ohio by rezoning certain property from RM-1 multiple family residential to B-3 general business district.
Councilman Kramer?
Thank you, Madam President. This also is a zone change request. This request was approved by the City Planning Commission. The purpose of the rezoning is to allow for a motor fuel retail convenience, a get-go cafe market. We did have a public hearing on January 9th at 5:30. We did not have any opposition to this request. Is there any council members that have any additional questions or comments regarding this zone change?
Councilman Gray?
Thank you, Madam President. Things are happening in Ward 3. This is also Ward 3. Again, I've had no negative comments regarding this request. This is the developer that's doing this is also the developer that is developing the Starbucks property across from Home Depot. I think they do a fantastic job. I think this is a good use of this property, and I would again urge this to be passed. Thank you.
Councilman Kramer?
Thank you, Madam President. Just to go on the record, there are 6 parcels. These parcels are on, all of them are on Lincoln Way East, and the acreage is 1.82 acres. Seeing no additional comments or questions, I make a motion to bring forward ordinance number 174-2022 for a vote.
Second by Councilman Lewis. Roll call.
Kern King,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Sluse,
Yes.
Snead,
Yes.
Viola,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
and Howard Smith.
Yes.
9 yes for passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 174, 2022 is passed. Ordinance number 175, 2022.
An ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Massillon, Ohio by rezoning certain property from O-1 office to R-1 one-family residential.
Councilman Kramer?
Thank you, Madam President. This zone change request, there is one parcel. It is located on First Street Northeast. The purpose of the rezoning is to allow for new residential construction. We did have an individual on behalf of Habitat for Humanity here at the public hearing that was scheduled on January 9th at 5:30. There was no opposition to this zone change. Does any council members have any additional comments or questions regarding this zone request change? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to bring ordinance number 175-2022 for a vote.
Second by Councilman Lewis. Roll call.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Sluse,
Yes.
Snead,
Yes.
Viola,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Howard Smith,
Yes.
and Kern King.
Yes.
9 yes for passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 175, 2022 is passed. Ordinance number 117, 2022. I'm sorry, ordinance number 177, 2022. My apologies.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Massillon, Ohio to enter into an agreement with Cyrus Also to provide an economic development inducement grant to fund startup costs, including build-out, equipment, etc., for Grove Mental Health and Wellness located at 141 First Street Northeast, Massillon, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Hernkane.
Thank you, Madam President. Are there any questions tonight on this ordinance? Seeing none, I make a motion that we bring ordinance number 177-2022 forward for a vote tonight.
Second by Councilman Viola. Roll call.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Sluse,
Yes.
Sneed,
Yes.
Viola,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Harvick Smith,
Yes.
and Lewis.
Yes.
9 yes for passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 177-2022 has passed.
Madam President, I think you skipped me.
Okay. Okay, let's try it again then. Lombardi,
Yes.
Sluse,
Yes.
Sneed,
Yes.
Viola,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Harvick Smith,
Yes.
Hernkane,
Yes.
and Lewis.
Yes.
9 yes for passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 177-2022 is passed. Ordinance number 184-2022.
An ordinance making certain appropriation from the unappropriated balance of the 1100 general fund for the year ending December 31st, 2022, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lewis.
Yes, this particular ordinance had a lot of discussion around it, and we have in the past week received some additional information. I believe we all were able to receive information in regards to a potential business deal that the property owner was negotiating for future use of the property by a local investor, which is always a positive thing to see. We also received tonight this letter from the property owner. A lot of good information, and in some ways he does summarize some excellent points, and that is that there is a variety of opinions and discussion and looking for clarity on how best to use this. From my understanding, so far, we are in a situation in which the state does have a program in which properties such as this did qualify for and can be torn down for the safety and revitalization of our downtown. And this grant is a 100% reimbursable grant that can be made. In this letter that we received, it is stated that the property owner in this page 2, I believe page 2, paragraph 2 in the last sentence, it says that we have proposed that the city is unwilling to fund the grant. We can fund the grant, which would then be reimbursed to the city of Massillon, who would then reimburse us. To me, that sounds as if the property owner is stating that they are willing to put up the cost, the upfront cost of the tear down of the property, and then just pull the state dollars through the city to be reimbursed at the appropriate time. I can't speak for everyone, but for me, that was acceptable on my end, that they are the ones that are paying for their property to have what needs done, and then if there is a state grant they qualify for, then so be it, and we have backup to pass through, so be it. The one thing that we want to guard ourselves from is that we are not finding ourselves in a position where we get a state grant and just take the money when we didn't put any money into the situation. That's my personal opinions. They did also ask in this letter, I believe that we table this a little bit longer so there can be more discussion and clarity. And given the additional information we received this week, I would be in agreement with that recommendation and would intend to do so. But before I make any motions, Madam President, I would open it up for further discussion if anyone on council would have further comments.
Councilman Gray.
Thank you, Madam President. My comment on this is that the funding is there. We've been discussing a great deal, a lot of ifs, ands, or buts. I think we need to move forward with this and get it done. We've got property sitting there that's condemned. It's a safety hazard to citizens and our safety forces. And I think it's just a matter of let's move it forward and get it done. Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilwoman Kramer.
Thank you, Madam President. This would give us additional time to review all the needed facts and make a decision at the next meeting. Thank you.
Councilman Viola?
Thank you, Madam President. I don't know if Mr. Bailey could speak to this as far as, I'm in favor also of possibly pushing this back a slight bit. I know we have, I think it's like a May 1st deadline to get reimbursed. If Mr. Bailey could comment, or if you know, Ed, about where that would put us with regard to the demo being done and completed and us submitting that to the state for reimbursement by that date.
Councilman West?
In speaking with Mr. Maley prior to the meeting, he did state that this is time sensitive, the verification that you brought up, Mr. Viola, but he also stated that one more meeting we could probably still squeeze in, but deadlines are getting done.
Okay.
Mr. Lewis, we are off next week too, so that's going to push it out probably 3 weeks, which creates one more issue. We are starting the remediation process, I believe, is February 1st. So that should take a few days. We'd like to get in there. The other question I have is, once we got the bids in, we only have 60 days to sign a contract. I'd have to look at that as far as when we got those bids in. The other thing, to your point, was I was wondering if, I think the debate kind of surrounds whether we should move forward and whether there's an assessment put on the property, no assessment. Let me throw this out and speak. I was just thinking about this. What if we move forward past it tonight? Because we don't, like you said earlier, Mr. Lewis, we don't necessarily have to say we're going to put an assessment on tonight. We could pass it tonight, have the money available, and then put forward legislation for next time, or at some point in time, once the demolition takes place, to put an assessment on. We could put an assessment on it later if that's the process this council wants to take, if that makes sense.
Councilman West?
I would say maybe the better bet would be to meet you in the middle and call for a special meeting on the 30th at 6:30 specifically for this. That way we stave off that additional week. And we can have the entire discussion, a whole meeting that's just this piece. And we can then come to a resolution at that time.
That's fine, Mr. Lewis. Just to go, I mean, we received a letter from Mr. Rubin this morning. A couple things in the letter I just want to make clear. Corrections, I should say. There were more than 3 sub-recipients to the grant. There was actually 5 for Stark County. We were one of 3 that got 100% reimbursement. The other 2 were 75. The other thing they talked about, there being a lot of confusion. I don't know if there's confusion. I think it's just a determination that this council wants to go. The law department, law director has made it clear that he feels confident that we can assess the property if we want to do the assessment. I know there's been some questions there. The letter also states that they've said from the very beginning that they were willing to fund this. That's not the case. As I said before, I would never probably come to council. They said they only had $50,000 to put forward to this. And that was their statement up until last week when I had an opportunity to talk to his son after our meeting last week. Called me about the meeting. Said that at that point they were willing to put up half of the money for reimbursement. And now this letter is the full amount. So I just want to make it clear to council that it wasn't on our end, that this was not always the case where they were willing to put the money up, just so there's clarification to that. And then the other thing, the letter I think misrepresents the fact that it says that they applied for the grant. They did not apply for the grant. Cities couldn't apply for the grant. We applied for the grant. They were given the grant, not the private property owners.
Mr. Maley, when you applied for the grant, you cited their specific building or property
That's correct.
cost for the grant, and that was what was awarded to us.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, we had to have their permission to move forward, but that wasn't the case when they applied for the grant. points. I brought this to your attention, and I think it's important, and I don't want council to be misinformed about. We have a situation that the city building department, code enforcement is looking at right now. We had an issue with really two of our buildings downtown, the old Bonnie's and Gregor's building, the council president shaking her head. Actually, it's the old Bonnie's and Gregor building, which is on the corner, and then the two properties to the east, two buildings to the east. The two buildings to the east are more relevant in this matter. But on Friday, we were informed, our now looked at it. The back end of those buildings blew out, in essence. And there's big holes in the backs of those buildings. We are having structural people look at it, trying to get reports. But most likely, it's going to be a major repair or a demolition on this property. So I just want to make sure council is aware of that moving forward, because I know a lot of the discussion has been with regards to what, what something else would happen. Those buildings are owned by Mr. Cowell. And really at this point, the building superintendent Princeton told me that those three buildings and the one on the east, on this north side of Erie, which used to be Tremont Coffee, he said those would be uninhabitable as we speak today in the near future. So we can figure out what's going on with those buildings.
So in lieu of that, I've seen pictures of the buildings and there's just bricks hanging. Is this structure, Howard's, is it good enough that it's not going to just start collapsing?
Well, that's the whole point of trying to get the buildings down as soon as possible, yes. We'd like to move forward as quickly as possible. And then the other factor that took place this week was the fact that I think you all received a letter from Alderman with regards to the offer to purchase the property. So those are all the things that was involved.
I didn't hear the last part.
That Alderman Company had sent a letter to council with regards to their interest in purchasing the Tiger Red's property.
To be clear, that's A-L-T-M-A-N, not A-U-L.
Not all M-A-N.
Councilman Lewis?
Thank you, Mr. Maley. I think some of the points that Mr. Maley brings up are exactly the elements that members of this council are concerned about, and that is that we treat every property in downtown the same. And that is with the development of other properties that are finding themselves in disrepair. That property owner is also going to be responsible for whatever steps are needed to take place to remedy this. And that's been my position this whole time. The state grant is great. Like I've stated, I have no issue whatsoever with them holding the state grant down and just the city acting as a pass-through. But they do have to hold the responsibility of the fiscal initial investment to make that happen and be reimbursed. That's been my opinion. Just the same way as these other properties would be able to apply for a state grant if they so choose. They handle it and use this as a pass-through. With that said, I think we would be in agreement with tabling this. I think there's a lot of conversation. Mr. Maley, we probably will have some questions that we will need answered, such as, will this still have to go through the bid process? I'm assuming it will because it's still involving the city. So we're going to want some information on that. I'm also thinking that there could potentially be some amending or adjustments made to the way the ordinance is currently written. And with that in mind, I'm considering, and please give me feedback, having the special meeting called for 7 p.m., allowing us to start our work session at 6:30, starting with finance, to discuss this openly, and then if we have to make an adjustment, we can. Otherwise, we have to go into a recess, make the adjustment, come back. By not starting the special meeting until 7, we can have all of our discussion and debate. If we do have to make an adjustment, we can do so and start at 7 o'clock with the special meeting. Does that make sense to everyone? And everyone's okay with that?
Mr. Lewis, we don't have to bid, it's already been,
Oh, it's already done.
yeah, the bid's done, we already got a bid.
Within the 60
Perfect.
days.
Yeah.
Within the 60 days.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Mr. Lewis?
All right.
With that said, I would like to make a motion that we table ordinance number 184-2022 till January 30th, at which time we will have a special meeting for 7 p.m. for this specific ordinance.
And then the public hearing at 5:30, start the meeting at 6:30, and this at 7. Busy night. Councilman Lombardi seconded. Roll call.
Slutes,
Yes.
Sneed,
Yes.
Fielden,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Howard Smith,
Yes.
Hearn Kane,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
and Lombardi.
Yes.
9 yes to table ordinance number 184-2022 until January 30th, 2023.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 184 has been tabled till 7 p.m. on January 30th. There are no third reading or second reading ordinances. Ordinance number 17, remarks of the delegation on any topic that does not appear on tonight's agenda. If you wish to do so, please come forward, state your name, address, topic you wish to discuss, and please limit your comments to 4 minutes or less. Name, address.
George Cleveland, 222 Lake Avenue, Northeast, Massillon. Taxpayer, Massillon, Ohio. About a month ago, I had spoke about potholes in the parking lots, and was able to talk to a couple members after the meeting. Got a lot of pushback, you know? It's like, nothing we can do. You know, it's like, what do you mean? Can't pick up the phone and call somebody that owns the property? So, I mean, you guys run for these seats, you know, you want to do what's best interest of the city. You know, you might make promises to your wards, hey, I can do a better job than the person that's been here before. And quite frankly, there's 7 new people, and there's only 2. Since I've been coming up, there's only 2 left, and that's Lewis and Kramer. You know, Craig's been here a while too, but for the most part, all new seats. You know, I don't really get that. When property owners have a city ordinance that they can't have a couch on their front porch, and they get fined, or the department will come after them to fine them. Why can't business owners have the same treatment? They should be held at a higher level, actually, because they want our business, but they don't want to take care of the parking lot, especially MP3 over at on the corner of Vogel and Amherst. That parking lot's a disaster. You know, and then you go over to Meldrum's, that parking lot's a disaster. So I feel like the council should try to bring up an ordinance or a legislation on something that there's some type of accountability, because, you know, I mean, if the law director needs to get involved, see, that's something I don't know. How is it even brought up to this discussion? Because, you know, I've been coming up here for a while, and when they wanted to have a name for downtown after LaFlavor, it got on here. And everybody was like, that was like the craziest thing I ever heard of. You know, to name a street after LaFlavor, because they've been together for 50 years and they patronize our city with their music. So I'd like for somebody to at least try to get some type of legislation drawn up to where these potholes are fixed in these parking lots. And, pardon me?
1 minute.
1 minute. So, you know, I talked to Jill, and she said maybe you could work out an agreement with the city to you call the owners and say, hey, we'll do it, you reimburse us. That was a good idea, I thought. But I've never got any type of answer back, and I'm kind of wondering why nobody's ever really answered me back, and why it's got to be like that. And then, you know, that's what I don't understand. You know, I mean, if the law director needs to get involved, they need to get involved. But then the other thing was about one session a month to have an open forum. I talked to Lewis about it. He said when Paul Manson was here, we had an open forum once a month, and he told me it was illegal. And I wrote this stuff down. So I don't know how that's illegal. And if you want people to come up here and express their opinion, and see, what I don't understand is what this body would be afraid of to ask questions and give answers back. Because, quite frankly, you get kind of, you know, detoured that why even come up here if nobody's going to give you an answer back? You know, and that kind of held this body accountable to ask them a question and get an answer. And that would maybe bring some people up here to speak, because I'm doing this for the city. I live in this city. Parts of it are getting run down, and parking lots are a problem. And if you don't think they are, drive through a couple of them. And I think if you were honest with yourself, you would say I was right. So,
Thank you.
okay, thanks.
Is there anyone else that would like to come forward and speak on any topic that did not appear on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, Councilman Sneed,
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
second by Councilman Kramer, roll call.
Sneed,
Yes.
Deolin,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Howard Smith,
Yes.
Herb Kane,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
and Sluse.
Yes.
9 yes to adjourn.